If, for instance, you're Omar Farouk Abdul Muttalib from UCL, University College London, and you run big days where you bring terrorists into campus and you show everyone footage of the planes flying into the Twin Towers, that's free speech. But somebody saying, I don't like that, hate speech.
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. My name is Elario, and today I'm back with a new video I want to check out with you guys. This is called I Tried to Warn You. Douglas Murray shreds Islamist and woke students at universities. You know how it goes, guys. We talk less and we react more. Let's check this out.
Douglas Murray breaks the silence and confronts what is currently happening right now at universities. Over the past few weeks, universities like the University of Columbia have seen an increase in pro-Palestinian protests and anti-Semitism. Radical Islamists have now taken over campuses. Douglas Murray has been warning us of this for years.
I could go on. The number of times that anyone engaged in free speech has been cancelled from campus now, I mean, it sort of happens every week. We get used to it, you know. We have radicals who go around, university campuses, recruiting jihadists and so on, and that's fine. If, for instance, you're Omar Farouk Abdul Muttalib from UCL, University College London, and you run big days where you bring terrorists into campus and you show everyone footage of the planes flying into the Twin Towers, that's free speech. But somebody saying, I don't like that, hate speech. So, you know, universities are the worst. Of course they're the worst. They always were going to be. I mean, I'd go to a university professor to get their ideas on this long after a gardener or a bin collector or anyone else. The universities are so much part of the problem because so much of this, the problem is the thought disease. I mean, our thinking has gone bad in Europe, it seems to me. And so the centres of so-called learning are no such thing. Let me give a very, very quick example, if I may. A few years ago at a university in London, some students came to me and said their student newspaper was going to run a cartoon of Muhammad, and I think did. The Student Islamic Society leader said that the names of the editors of this student newspaper had appeared on an Al-Qaeda website. You see. This caused a huge furore among the university and so on. Of course, the thing was withdrawn. But then the Student Islamic Society leader said, you know, to the kids who were later done this, if you apologise, I can see if I can mediate a bit, you know. That is the thing that is happening all the time. All the time. People with Kalashnikovs don't have to be very large in number, because behind them they have a whole group of people who find it very useful that they have people with Kalashnikovs on their side. And you know, you can go a long way if you can say, basically, I'm not going, the old, mob trick. You turn up at somebody's door with a huge bouncer in black glasses and you say, well, I'm not going to hurt you, but my mate, he's mad as hell at you. It's incredibly effective.
Douglas Murray's critique of Ivy League universities in the context of the recent anti-Israel protests and the perceived rise in anti-Semitism on campuses highlights a broader cultural and ideological battleground. His commentary suggests that these elite institutions are not just complicit, but actively fostering an environment where radical ideologies thrive under the guise of academic freedom and intellectual diversity. Murray's assertion that wokeness in academia predicts these outcomes resonates with a common concern among conservatives, that higher education has become a breeding ground for leftist ideologies that not only challenge traditional values, but also undermine societal norms and stability.
That's true.
His reference to the infiltration of terrorists in these educational settings intensifies this critique, suggesting that universities are no longer just passive arenas for ideological debates, but active participants in promoting harmful agendas. The statistics and reports tend to support some of these concerns. For example, a report by the Anti-Defamation League highlighted a significant increase in anti-Semitic incidents in the United States, with a notable number occurring on college campuses. These incidents, which range from harassment and vandalism to outright violence, often coincide with heightened political tensions in the Middle East, but are also deeply intertwined with domestic ideological conflicts. Moreover, the criticism of a double standard in free speech is particularly poignant. It aligns with findings from a survey by the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, FIRE, which indicates that nearly 60% of students at U.S. colleges and universities feel that the climate on their campuses prevents some people from saying what they believe because others might find it offensive. This perception of censorship, especially against conservative viewpoints, is a stark illustration of the imbalance Murray addresses. Other commentators, like Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson, have echoed Murray's concerns, arguing that universities prioritize ideological conformity over critical inquiry and intellectual rigor. They point to the increasing
That's
number
true.
of speakers disinvited from campuses and the implementation of safe spaces and trigger warnings as evidence that universities are retreating from their foundational principles of debate and discussion.
This was quite informative. I agree with Douglas at the point where he said that when someone brings out a viewpoint and everyone, or particularly most people, go along with it, whether right or wrong, and someone brings out an opposing viewpoint, that is seen as offensive. And the first view is seen as that individual having freedom of speech, which is funny though, because I mean, he's free to speak. Mr. B too should be free to speak if we're being sincere with ourselves. And according to the commentator, voicing out Douglas' thoughts further, she said that the university is now actively participating in some of these viewpoints that are not societally right. They more like endorse it, put more light on it. It has now moved further from just freely speaking to freely participating in these demonstrations. And she mentioned two other commentators, Jordan and Ben Shapiro. She said these two men have echoed Douglas Murray's concerns on why the universities actually ban these other commentators from going to speak to the students. The universities have left their viewpoint on having active discussions and debate more because they have embraced, she used the word leftist, they have embraced the leftist side wholeheartedly. And anything seen contrasting that is offensive, is seen as an offensive speech, rather. And they, on that side, will I say, have the most necessary title or most necessary right of freedom of speech. Anyway, guys, tell us what you think about this video in the comment section. Leave a thumbs up at the end of this video. Thank you for watching and stay safe.